I think 7 years now, which is crazy to think about. But I've learned a lot from him, and it's always great to have him on as a guest. So, Scott, thank you so much for being here today.
Well, thank you. Time flies, right?
I know. I started just thinking, like, what the heck? Where has this time gone, right?
Awesome.
I was
Time and
24 when I
growth.
started with the company. Yes, that's it.
So
Uh,
I was only 80, but
yeah.
um,
Oh my gosh. So I know you've been with KB Core inside real estate previously with conversion and other real estate focused industry. Um, how have you seen like the evolution of business and having this pipeline equals paycheck become more and more of an important factor every day for people to be really aware of what they're doing?
competition's gone crazy, I think, is part of it. It's really funny. I was remembering back, early 2000s when, realtor.com said you have to have a website, and we all did.
Hmm.
It was a vanity page. There was just nothing happening. It's like an online business card. And you look
Right.
at where we've come today, and it's just a matter of there are so many people still, just really pushing to connect with
Hmm.
people online. Fortunately, most of them aren't great at it, and it gives us an edge. So,
Right.
but there are some people who are fantastic, and it's amazing to see some of the innovations and things that have happened. And I love, for example, I love what we're doing with playbooks and stuff like that,
Hmm.
where we're just creating this easy button that lets you hit people at like 9 different ways. And if you guys haven't seen that yet, that's going to be fun.
Yeah, the playbacks are really tremendous. And everyone, if you haven't seen it yet, I encourage you to look at it today. Actually, I'll double dog dare you because it's something that's going to walk you through the entire listing process from A to Z, from sending out the notices to identifying and farming your own smart CRM for opportunities, sending out communications and follow up. So you'll find these in the new UI on the left-hand side, that second option down on the left, or in the middle of your dashboard, you'll see playbooks here, and it'll say promote a new listing. Pop into that, and then you can choose your different types of listings you want to see. And I'm in my test account, so you might not see one here, but you can see I
Awesome.
have one over here that I've started, and it basically walks you through how to create a playbook for a specific listing. So I say check it out, follow the wizard through, and see all the goodies that are built in because it builds all of this for you. You just have to fill out a few things and it does it for you. So it's really awesome.
What's so great about it is the do it for you part. I think
I
it's just,
know, I know.
everybody can give you a playbook with a list of things to do, but being able to click and just do it like really quick is amazing.
Hmm.
And I think the more things that we bring out with playbooks that kind of make that easy button happen, the more effective our people are going to be. And I'm really excited about the growth of the playbook piece. I think it's going to be great.
It's amazing. And the neat thing I really like about this is it also gives you these little menus here at the top left. So it has all of the plays, like everything that has to be done from announcing your listing, leveraging your social media, follow up and communicate, which is really in line with the pipeline
Mhm.
ideology, right? And then you also have some measurable results here. So you can actually look at this and be like, okay, I did these efforts. And it looks like Annalisa needs to like work on hers a bit, right? But we did these efforts to notify agents and so forth.
Yeah.
And we notified contacts and agents here. So you can kind of see who's interacting with you. And then this little quick sheet is a summary of your squeeze page link that the system builds for you along
Just
with the
builds the
landing
squeeze
page.
page, just builds the
It,
landing page. You don't
it
even have to
does.
do that stuff. And that's
That's what I love about
that's
it.
where it's like boom, it's instant. And
Yes.
that's awesome. Anyway, I know I took us off in a
No, no,
direction,
you're
but
fine. I think that's what kind of real estate is, right? It's like a pinball. It can be like a pinball wizard, right?
I'm
Uh,
like a pinball, but yeah.
well, perhaps no. But I just think that's what it is. You have to be able to roll with it and
Squirrel.
pinball around. And the cool thing about like promoting a listing is if you get a phone call that pinballs you in another direction, you can come right back and pick off where you left off, where you
Absolutely.
were in the process of the playbook. So that is my analogy there.
Yeah.
And And when we're thinking about the overall idea of lead gen and defining a lead, a lot of people have different ways of defining a lead. So what is your definition of a lead overall?
That's a great question. It's funny because I notice that there are a lot of people out there who qualify leads. This is a good lead, this is a bad lead, this is a etc. Really, it's people. It's people. That's what it is. Everybody is looking at property at some point. Everybody wants to look at pictures of houses for sale. That's why some of the big portals that shall not be named have grown so fast, and it's pictures of houses for sale, and everybody is looking. So how many of those people should be looking with you? And what can you do to delight those people so that when they are ready, you're the person that they're talking to? But in the meantime, they're using your tools because you have these phenomenal tools. Your website is serious business, and there is a ton of great things that you can promote and present in order to keep people interested in you. And you have to leverage those things in order to incubate. So for me, what is a lead? It's people. It's not stupid people, it's people stupid. That's the way I always say it.
Right,
is that
right.
you just get everybody in. Let the system do the sorting, and then you spend your time with the people who are giving you the positive response that you want. And but have your system do the sorting. That's what it's here for. And then you spend your time with people who are giving you the feedback that the system helps create for you. You have something that helps start conversations. How you manage those conversations after the fact is what's going to dictate how much business you pull back after this. But if you're looking at what kinds of leads are there, there's basically there's three kinds. There's buyers, right? Sellers. No, that's not true. There's three kinds. There's owners, there's renters, and you'll hear my friend Brian say this. You're either an owner or you're a renter, or you're the weird guy that somebody lets sleep on their couch. I mean, that's all there is there's only basically owners and renters in the world. And you should want to help them all. And in order to do that, you want to make sure that you're treating everyone like a person, like a human, like somebody that you're here to help. And not prejudge leads, because I've seen people who treat leads like they owe you something just for being on your website. You're using my website. And I've seen people get mad, if the lead's not doing what they want them to. Well, that's on you. That's how you're managing your people, or it's just where they're at in their lives. You don't have control over that. So don't prejudge leads. Don't prejudge a lead at all, period.
So basically, it's kind of like all in working with anyone in humanity, you want to seek to understand where they are and where they want to go, and then provide the elements that help them get there.
Ask good questions. Find out what they want by asking good questions.
So like open-ended questions.
Right. And then don't attack them. Don't annoy them. While you do want to have touches and contact on a regular basis, treat people the way you want to be treated. It's just like the golden rule, treat people the way you want to be treated. If this is you, what do you want as well? So in that respect, you should adopt a role. Adopt a role. And that role is something that I call your admirable ally. That's somebody that they admire because you have all this great access to this stuff and you're presenting it to them and keeping them, happily informed. But you're on their side. And they feel, and if somebody feels like you're on their side, they're more likely to buy. That's for sure with you.
Right. So more as like a partner guide.
Yeah. In sense.
Awesome. And one of my favorite things is talking about growing the pipeline of KV Core. I mean, all of us have seen it since its inception, and now it's kind of like it was a little baby, right? And now it's a
Right.
teenager. And I always jokingly call it like the wee beastie, or like
Mhm.
KV Core is like feeding the beast. And I always say, keep feeding the KV Core contacts and leads so it doesn't get hangry. So
Yeah,
I think we need to kind of speak about,
absolutely.
how to keep the beast happy, how to keep yourself happy by being proactively using it and kind of redefining your approach sometimes, or looking at different
Mhm.
methods to implement. And I think a big part of that trust is working on getting your network imported and really educating folks and making sure they know that your website's a safe place to search. And I know that you talk about folks and using the website. And what's the key element you always kind of talk to about using the website and how safe it is?
Yeah, well, what I normally like to do is scare people a little bit. So let's just go to Google
Mm-hmm.
right now. Can you pop open a browser?
Yeah, of course.
And let's pick a town. I search Carlsbad. You can search wherever you want to. Pick a city, any city, homes for sale, right?
Okay,
And
so homes
what
for
do
sale in
people,
Carlsbad.
sure, what are people searching? Carlsbad homes for sale in Carlsbad, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So if you aren't the one sending access to your friends, to your family, to your past clients, to everyone that you know, whether it anywhere, your religious organization, a charity that you work for, parents of your kids, friends,
Mm-hmm.
everybody, if you aren't providing them with a good, safe, local place to look at pictures of houses for sale, where are they going?
Right.
So let's go see what that page looks like, that Google page.
Yeah, I was looking at this. I was going, oh,
Yeah,
so there's some
so
paid
this first guy
advertising, which
here,
is good.
this
Yeah.
first guy here, they're buying the chance to get your friends and family's data.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now the one under that's doing the same. And the one under that, once we get into the organic down here, well, they're selling your friends and family's data to other realtors.
Right.
And so is the one below that, and the one below that, and the one below that.
Yep.
So basically, what's going to happen is, even if I'm not one of the, it could be up to 20% of people who are filling out forms on these sites, then I'm still getting a cookie placed on my browser. And everywhere I go, I'm seeing this other agent's ad because I clicked on this link.
Right.
And so, as a note, if you're not giving them somewhere safe to look, they're just going to go here. And friends don't let friends drive drunk on Google. So the note is that your friends are already doing this. They're already doing this. So you want to kind of pull them out of that and say, look, here's your local safe place to search.
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving you access to all of the listings that I get to see as a realtor. And I'm happy to do custom searches for you and
Awesome.
let them know that here, this is for you.
Yeah. And it circles them back to your site every time when you do that, because the search alerts will always send people directly back to your own website. Any link you create in KV Core will always send people right back to you. So that's a really great, it's like a boomerang, right?
It is.
Except it
Yeah.
doesn't get your noggin. It
Yeah.
goes right back into your smart CRM.
And so, yeah, and you can even, when you tell that, if you're going to do a mass text, a mass email, and I do
Mm-hmm.
believe in saying, if you're going to bring new people into the system, get
Mm-hmm.
your friends imported, get them in. Everything we're talking about, by the way, I know that I know this is mastermind, and sometimes, it's a level above and everything else, but it all has to start with the basics. So every little functional thing we're talking about today, you're going to be able to search out in
Mm-hmm.
your success portal. It's in there. You can go in
Right.
there and see the step by step on how to get lead import done by us. You're going to see 24 ways to get your sphere of influence, to build your sphere of influence right there in the middle. As soon as you go log into that,
Yep.
the first link in between your eyes is 24 ways to build your sphere of influence. If you're not bringing your people in here, if you don't manage your sphere, somebody else will. And I promise you
Right.
that somebody else will. So the idea is to make sure they're in here first and that they're getting managed. Then once they're in here, you want to make sure that you're informing,
Mm-hmm.
educating, and entertaining. I don't want to send out anything to anybody that isn't adding value in one of those ways. I'm going to either
Right.
inform, I'm going to educate, or I'm going to entertain. Informing, though, can be property.
Mm-hmm.
Lead with property almost always. Remember, pictures of houses for sale is why they're on the internet. It's what they want. I want to see homes for sale with prices on them. And I want to go look at the pictures, and I want to see the bedroom, and I want to, is that what I want? I want to look at the
Right.
kitchen, see how updated it is. These are the things people are looking at. Make sure that's what you're giving them, is pictures of houses for sale. It's the great converter in my mind, is presenting the image, the product, the thing they want, and being really good at that.
Right. And I
And you'll
think,
get a lot more people to come back to you from that sphere by giving them the opportunity to see what they want to see.
mm-hmm. And it reminds me of something I learned a long time ago with marketing, like the base, like the highest point you can get in marketing and interaction is that engaged level of play with people. And that's when people are playing around with the idea of, oh, hey, look at the natural light in that bedroom, or look at this amazing kitchen that'll fit my dream smeg in there, easily, or this is what I'm working towards. This is really going to do something. So when you get people excited, they're in that high state of play in their mental, state. And it really makes a huge positive impact. So that's why it's super important to get those engaging comments and those pictures out, alerts, and just helpful information, I would think.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's lots of ways to do that. Again,
Mm-hmm.
one, you want to get them in. And so if you look at that 24 ways to drive leads, that's one, you have to do that. And then
Mm-hmm.
two, you want to get those people imported.
Right.
So the nice thing is that we do it for you. Now, for those of you who like Excel and you want to import your own leads, okay, but know that we'll do it for you. And
Mm-hmm.
even if you're going to do it yourself, I want you to go look at the we do it for you form, the
Right.
form. You don't always know what questions to ask yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're asking, what campaign do you want these people to go on? When we're asking, do you want them to be on search alerts? What status is this lead going to go under? And understanding the cause and effect of that when you do it yourself might not always be there. Do not be afraid to let us handle it for you, because
Right.
we're asking you the questions. But if you absolutely want to do it yourself, that's great, awesome, do it. But look at the form on the let us handle it first, and make sure you're addressing the questions that you want to have answered once that data is in your system.
Yes. And I find, I mean, I think 100, my record's been 100%. Ask us to let us handle it for you.
Yeah,
We have a
that's my
complete department that we have created, like, from
Mhm.
scratch. We created a department to help people, and they're all lead configuration specialists, and they are all have the expertise to make sure everything lands where it should.
Yeah.
So the last thing I want is you to feel like, oh my gosh, now I've got to learn KV Core. I'm going to go to my classes. I've got my daily business. Oh, but I need to get these imports done. So you
Send them
can
away.
prepare your imports, right? You can get some preparation going. However, when that's ready, work with us. The team will upload it for you while you're doing your day-to-day, while you're doing your day in and day out within KV Core. So that's my biggest push there. Just don't worry about it. You don't want to get eye
Mhm.
twitchy trying to do it yourself, because there's a lot of steps to it. So, please rely on us to help you with that.
That's good feedback.
Yeah.
Now, once you get your people in, you're going to want to engage them. And usually what happens there is that you're going to say, okay, well, they're all in here, now what, right?
Right.
You can introduce yourself to people, or try to kind of do what we call an intro scrub with your people. Say, hey, here's my products, here's my site, here's my places for you to search,
Mm-hmm.
and tell me, where are you at in your situation? So
Right.
we actually already have those templates built. They're sitting in the site, and you can just
Mm-hmm.
push, you can just mass email, mass text. So if you're in your smart CRM
Mm-hmm.
and you were going to do a mass email or text, and all you
Yeah.
do is hit template. When you, after you click on mass email or text, you can just hit template, and in there type in import, the word
Oh, I love
import.
this email. And this works for
And now,
texting too, right?
boom, there it is. Yes, there's
Yeah.
one for text also. So you have canned responses for text and you have templates for emails. And in both of them, you already have something set up to go. So if you
Right.
don't want to sit here and think about what to say or what to do or any of that stuff, look, this is the easy button. The stuff's done for you.
Yeah. And there are a ton of templates in here that you can use as standalones as well as within campaigns, which is awesome. And the thing about this is you can see it's a live field here. So if you look at this and you're like, hey, I need to pepper in a bit of who I am, you can do that. You know, you can also add in additional merge tags. These are super cool little elements. Anytime you see a phrase with a little curly bracket, that's what these little guys are, these little brackets on each side, that is a merge tag. If you want to add additional information, maybe it's like hi, first name, and then last name. You know, I'm just going to put a space in there, but after the curly bracket up here. And then this little sun icon.
Follow the sun, I say.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great, I like that. Here comes the sun. Okay, here we go. So we're going to click on that and then we can say lead last name. So it'll say hi, first name, last name, comma. So the system will automatically fill in the blanks for these merge tags for you. So you just drop them in and then you aren't having to type all of this information yourself again and again and again for a mass email. And it personalizes
or just let them know that unlike the big portals, I'm not going to share your data with anybody.
Right.
You can pop that in there as well.
Yeah.
So, and the canned responses also have the template sitting in there. So if you're holding back or hesitating for any reason about getting your sphere in there, don't. It's the great equalizer. It really is. It's the great equalizer. The more people you build, the better. And if you're doing your agent success plan, if you're new and you're doing an agent success plan, do not skip that part. All of that building is in there for you to get your sphere of influence in, for you to be able to engage with them. We built this for you to scale into it to be able to do this stuff. So don't skip the sphere. That is 70% of an agent's business traditionally. Right. And you would hate to be poor at that piece. So you definitely want to get people in. And then once they're in, there's many, many ways to delight them. And that is more likely going to be a different conversation. But before we talk about how to feed the beast a little bit more, it looks like that's where we're headed.
Yeah.
But before we do, know what you want to do. And I'm going to give you a secret, and it's really easy, is that pipeline equals paycheck.
Yeah.
How many people I talk to today determines how many deals I do tomorrow, right? That's what's going to happen. And there is no getting around that. It's sales 101, and we're all in sales. So how many people you talk to today determines how much money you make. Now, let's say that you're starting, and this is good for those of you who are running teams, who are running organizations. All I have to do to scare your people off is say goal setting, right? Because everybody wants to do it. But let me simplify that for you a little bit. It's math. It's basic math. Most of you, if you want to make 6 figures or more and you've never been there before, we're talking about 5 people in your pipeline a day. Find 5 people a day. In most markets, that's enough gross commission in order to get you to that number. But you have to do it consistently over a long period of time to create that consistent business flow. I'm not talking about make 6 figures once in your life. I'm talking about have a consistent 6-figure pipeline. In order to do that, you want to do the math. So my version of the math is, okay, I want to make that 6-figure income. So what am I going to do? Well, let's see. Every time I get a deal, for me, it means about $8,000. You do your own math, but for me, about 8,000. So what do I need to do? If I want to do that, I need to do 13 deals in order to get that 8,000. If I'm a 1% converter, and I want to imagine that until you've proven different you are, just go for it at that rate, except until you prove you're different, you are. And with the system, you can get beyond that, but you have to start somewhere. So assume right now you are a And this is for your new leads. Okay. This isn't for your sphere. Your sphere is going to supplement that, but you're
Right.
going to build this consistent pipeline of new leads. So in order to do that, you want to make sure that you're getting 100 contacts for every deal you need to get.
Yes, I was just
It
about to
doesn't.
say that's the golden rule.
Mhm.
You want to have at least 100 new leads a month on
Yep.
average. Yep.
So if I get 100 contacts for every deal that I need to get, I need to do the math on that. That's 1,300 contacts over a year, right? And it doesn't mean when I get that 100th lead, I'm going to have a deal. It doesn't work that way. It's
You're
over
right.
time, you grow a consistent flow. And
Mm-hmm.
so in order to do that, what you need to do is break it down to something that's more manageable. Because if you tell me 1,300 leads, I'm going to be like, oh, wow, and I'm going to get distracted. But if you told me 5 a day,
Yeah.
right? If you told me 5 a day, okay, great. Maybe I do Facebook and it gets me a couple, or maybe I do, maybe I'm out in the social network. Maybe I'm bumping Craigslist ads on listings I have or I'm borrowing, or maybe I am, maybe I'm able to boost some properties, which is, the easy button is
Mm-hmm.
property boost. That's what I call property boost, the easy button.
Oh,
Whatever
it
those
really is. Yeah.
things are that you need to do, build them in and budget them.
Yes, for
So
sure.
there's 2 ways that you're going to get leads: time and money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Time and money. So what you want to do is you want to find out what your time money balance is,
Right.
right? If you've got a ton of money and no time, you're going to spend it. You're going to do the Google and the Facebook and all that good stuff, right? You're going to go ahead and, you know, generate that stuff for yourself that way. If you right now are in a position where, man, I have time, that's the problem, then dedicate that time to creating consistent flow of leads that you generate. And then for most of us, it's somewhere in between, right?
Right.
And then to anchor that, what you really want to do is dedicate and budget yourself. So here's what I can do financially per month. And then here's what I can do with time per day. I can do 45 minutes a day of lead gen or whatever, and then time block that, put it
Mm-hmm.
into your day, into your calendar. If what you want at the end of this picture is a consistent business and you want to build something for yourself, and I mean build something like a pipeline that eventually maybe you partner off to somebody else who does the work when you go to retire. What's your retirement plan in real estate? Right? That's one of the
Right.
scariest questions anybody's ever asked. And so, are you building up a pipeline that you're going to be able to monetize at some point?
Mm-hmm.
So your pipeline is your paycheck, and you really want to make sure that you have a plan to build that pipeline. So what different ways can we do that? We covered
Oh my
one, which
goodness.
was
Where
sphere
do
of
we
influence,
start? Where do we
right?
start? I mean, like we
There
started
we
out with
go.
24. I was thinking about that article, The 24 Ways, the other day, and I'm like,
Mhm.
we kind of got together and wrote that a couple of years ago, and I'm like, there's actually more now. We need
Right.
to add more to that because it just continually is
It's true.
it is diversifying. All the markets all over, the
And I want
place
to
on
update
ways
a
you can do
couple of
that.
those too, but the 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 sphere of influence stuff, yeah, you can download your Mac contacts, you can download your Gmail contacts, you can sync your
Hmm.
Gmail, you can you should be downloading everybody who's ever been in the MLS, that you've ever put in the MLS. You should download that and get it in here.
Right.
MLS isn't going to follow up on your leads for you and create conversations when they decide they're active.
Right.
This will. KV Core will. So I want them in here. And so the other thing is that you'll find in there that there's this thing called the 10 by 10 sheet. And that's, again, it's part of your
Hmm.
agent success plan. But if you're, a couple of years past that agent success plan since you started, you can still go in and get a 10 by 10 sheet.
Right.
It is down, it is available still. And it's in, it might even be in your 24 ways. So that means you're just going to get 10 people a day for 10 days that
Hmm.
whether it's somebody who sent you a holiday card or, I always like to do it with my vendors. Like my insurance person wants to send me stuff, I should be able to send them
Right.
stuff, and so anybody you're already doing business with is a really good idea.
Hmm.
And then, your friends, your family, etc. So if you don't have everybody in email or MLS, then that next step is to start on your 10 by 10 and just make it your goal to meet and add X amount of people per day.
Right.
You need 5 a day for sure, but at first you should go big and try to follow on a 10 by 10 list and challenge yourself.
Awesome. I love it. And it's basically kind of rethinking how you define the lead. And it's basic. It's just a person.
It's a person.
Anybody you could have met anywhere, friend, or someone you went to school with, PTA, maybe your kids played softball with them. It's anybody that you know.
I was a looky-loo before I bought, guys. I was somebody's bad lead until somebody treated me right. And how I chose my realtor, having been in this business as long as I have, is pretty simple. It was a great conversation. It was the right guy in the right time.
Right.
And that's why you want to make sure you're keeping people with you by providing them good content and access to the things that they want, which you have.
Yes. Yeah. And we have all of that built in, so it's all easily organized in your dashboard. Your contacts can go on to your website, and when they're signed in, I'm just going to go to look at a couple listings here just to make sure you can see what happens. When your folks are signed in, it also keeps things organized for them. So when they're logged in here at the top, they're going to have a little list of saved properties up here. They can actually go in and create their own search alerts on your website that help enhance and lead information to you to show you what they're looking at, aside from what they may have shared with you at the time of your conversation. So encourage them to go on your site and create their own listing alerts. Watch what they're setting up and try to mirror that on your end. It's just it's a really great intuitive way to help folks on your site. All right, now
create that pipeline again, right?
Right, and I think
time and money.
Yeah,
which one do you want to do first?
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, we've talked about imports and different types of opportunities. I'd say, let's talk a bit about managing it. So when we're talking about effort and like what you were just speaking to, let's get some more definition in there.
Okay. So you're talking about managing your pipeline in general? Okay, good. So number one is remember that you don't want to spam your friends.
Right.
Okay, you don't want to spam your friends, but you want to give them value.
Right.
And that means value for each person. Now, before I send anything, they do have to meet, I have to make sure I check myself. Do I meet that informative, entertaining kind of an approach? Am I hitting my marks on that? And so I want to be able to inform, and I want to be able to entertain, and I want to be able to add value. And if I'm not adding value, how is this adding value to the conversation? You ever make a call list of your clients and you call and you don't know what to say? Don't make the call unless you know what the goal of the call is and you have a plan,
Yes.
and that's kind of what you want to do, right? We're going to use phone. We're going to use email. We're going to use text. That's really all we have to work with in this world. And we're going to use video. But the video is going to go by email or text. So,
and I think it's important to note, well, this is not a great example. I'm going to go to my activity stream on my dashboard here. It's important to note that if you are at a loss of words for something like, oh, what should I talk about? There's actually a neat little summary on every contact within your dashboard that you can use. So if we go ahead and open up a contact, like I'll just click on my name here. We'll see this little summary here, these little insights on this left-hand side, and I'll make my screen a titch larger here so you can see it better. So it's coming at you. Might have just made it too big. Yep, I did. So on this left-hand side, you'll always see key elements like, okay, who are they? What are they doing? Do we have the information? What hashtags are associated? So all of this is insightful knowledge. You can be like, oh, that's right. They were looking at Westchester for a pool. They have a VA loan. And then the insights here are going to say, based on what they've been looking at, they've been mostly looking in this area, this many bed and bath around this price point. Well, look at that. I'm looking at a cool 49 million. Who knew? And then it'll tell you when they signed up, when were they on your site last, and then importantly, how the heck did I land them? What's the
Mhm.
key element that I can refer to here that might be relevant to them? So you have all of this information here all of the time. And then as you're gaining insight, you can create a note.
Pin it,
Yep, and pin it. Absolutely.
pin
Make
a
the
note.
note and pin it. You can all pine it. You can also do your hashtags in here just by doing, and this is the only place you have to do your symbol for the hashtag when you're in KV Core.
Mhm.
So when you just put your tag in and then, like hashtag, it's going to say, well, which one of these do you want? Or you can create your own tag while you're typing. And then when you add it, it's going to drop the hashtag onto the contact. You can also pin that little guy to the top and keep adding information to it over time.
I love this for personal conversations.
Yeah.
When you've had a long talk with somebody, and even if you're not keeping the notes in here, which you probably should when you're having the conversation and
Mm-hmm.
saving it, in addition to that, I would make a note at the end with the synopsis so that next time something happens and I pop into that lead and
Yep.
it's like, she knows my aunt from this or that, or whatever that thing is that you really want to remember, especially if it's based on association, then
Mm-hmm.
you want to have that handy. And that's when pinning a note really matters. And so after you've had a conversation, don't be afraid to create a lead synopsis and then pin it to the top so that next time you come in, that's what you're looking at. I don't pin 40 notes, but I'll have one, which is my most recent lead synopsis. And then you can
Right.
add to it as you go on.
So important info, create a summary of notes and pin them at the top. And this is going to reflect on your app and your dashboard.
What
All
this
right.
kind of plays to a little bit is that,
Mm-hmm.
in the long run, it's the relationship that you have with people that's going to help you convert that person into a client. And
Right.
being able to have, honest, meaningful conversations with individuals is going to pay you. Now, you still want to make sure that you're framing everything in advancing the relationship, the way you want
Right.
to. So some structure along advancing the relationship is important. And what that means is, that when I'm in a talk, I have a direction. I know the goal of my conversation is to get them to book an appointment, or I know the goal of the conversation is to get them to commit to something, commit to a follow-up, commit to a phone call, commit to, to a check-in on a specific time and day next to see where
Mm-hmm.
they're at. Whatever that thing is, gain that commitment in that conversation. So yes, be conversational, have rapport, genuinely care about that individual. If they feel like you genuinely care about them and
Mm-hmm.
what they want to do, you're in. So, but doing that, you still have to remember to tie down, is what we call it, tying down. And that is make sure that you gain a commitment in every conversation. So if your goal isn't to go look at homes, or your goal isn't, a listing appointment because they're not there yet, well, what is that next step goal that you can gain commitment on so that you're always closing?
And I think another thing is to think about if somebody's like, no, I don't, not right now. No doesn't mean forever. It just means right now at this particular moment when you called me or emailed me, unless it's a very emphatic no and it
Right.
echoes through your noggin,
Right.
just say, okay, you know what? This is where I will get that commitment. And I'll tell you that, okay, I'm going to follow up in a couple of weeks. Let's see how things are going. And it'll, give some time for whatever this might be to calm down. Um, and then follow through on that. And I think that's an important thing to do as well. To not get down if you get some no's in a row.
Bob doesn't
It's
want to get into his credit problem with you yet. Bob, even though you might have a way to help him get rid of that,
right.
he's not ready to tell you that he's
He's not
possibly getting
mentally
a divorce.
possibly ready yet. Yeah.
You don't know where this person's at any given
Right.
moment. But if you can keep moving forward and show them you care about what they want, eventually
Mm-hmm.
this stuff will come out and you might be able to actually assist somebody, and help them take their next steps, which is awesome. So just remember that there should be a commitment on every call.
Yeah.
And that you should definitely let them know that you're here to help them with what they want.
And I was just correcting my spelling up here. I was thinking like, I think the bottom line is ask yourself, am I sending out a good, memorable experience with me right now? What am I providing where something like, oh, this was fantastic, or oh, I'm gonna save this email. I'm gonna mark it as new again so I can come back to it or something. So, always kind of step back away from it. Or if you need somebody else to even read your text that's not in the industry, have a friend read and say, okay, when you read this, what's your first impression? And that's a really good way, especially you have a really good friend who's not going to pull punches with you. It's a good way of checking yourself too. All right. Now, I know in the past we've kind of touched on blogging, and to me, I believe blogging is an important aspect because you can use this as part of your follow-up and part of the value that you're creating and sending to folks. So my favorites of keeping on a blog I kept up all the time was, like, what is an FHA loan? What is a 203K and how does that work? What are the different types of first-time home buyer programs out there? What are the programs for military and civil service? These are all things you can blog and keep up there. And if somebody is in the military and they mention that, you can send them the link to that information, right? And you always have it at your fingertips. You could even create templates in your Smart Campaign area with those links and just pepper those out all day, every day.
Every once in a while, again, I keep going back to this, lead with the inventory.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
How to find reduced priced homes. And you can talk about how to find reduced price homes in your market, but then at the end of the day, give them a big fat link that leads them right to where the reduced priced homes are in your county, on your site, and get them looking at them. Things that, again, entertaining, engaging, and informative, right? Give people what they want. And most of the time, remember, pictures of houses for sale. The NAR survey of buyers and sellers happens every single year. You guys get the same report. And every time we look at the report and they ask people why they're going online, they get the same answer. I want to look at pictures of houses for sale. So I believe in, peppering your blogs and sometimes your campaigns with different fun ways for them to look at homes. And if it's in a blog, it doesn't have to be in one person's specific wheelhouse. It doesn't matter whether or not it's in their area, because all you're doing is showing them how to go find those things, right? And so
it's an empowering thing. I think that's the thing. We need to empower our folks and give them the knowledge.
Give them the goodies too.
Yes, because when they're on the site, I'm always like, click the little heart, save that property, build yourself a list. And then in turn, every time somebody clicks the heart, you, the agent, are going to be informed that they manually, purposefully clicked the heart. So it does nothing but, gain more information to you and insight into that person. I always kind of think of the way, like when I first started out using Conversion and then KV Core, that you'd see people when you'd first talk with them, oh, I'm looking for a $500,000 house with 5-bed, 4-bath. And you're like, okay, you set up the alerts. And then after time, they get pre-qualified. And all of a sudden you see it kind of go, zoop. Okay, we're going to go sideways. We're looking at 400,000, 3-bed, 2.5 bath for a different area, maybe. So you see these things happen. And when you have those listing alerts engaging out, when you're sending out a market report or a blog about how to find XYZ, these are things that lead to that insight that you'll need to have that relationship and that, I guess, that inner knowledge, basically, of how to help them. And I know when we also speak about communications, I mean, we have market reports, smart campaigns, listing alerts, seller reports, happy birthday, happy anniversary. Which one of these is your favorite?
Oh, market reports for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me take that back. Listing alerts first, because it's pictures of houses for sale. And
yes.
I know I keep beating on that, but
no, it's true though.
It's what we sell. So that's number one. But then I would say market reports next. And it's market reports is informative without being pushy. It's one of those things that you can do that people are interested in. And
Yeah.
I didn't care as much until I owned a home. So if people are paying a lot of attention to your marketing and your market reports,
Mm-hmm.
they probably own a home.
Now, I think the neat thing about these market reports is we can add them to anyone, and I've never seen it cap out like, oh, we can only send 5. There's no limit on these guys, right? They can also
Right.
go on your website and create their own.
Yep.
But the neat thing about this is when you're on the contact profile in the new UI, of course, you have like the main information on the left, like your left rail. The meat of what's been happening is in the middle. And then communication is over here on the right. So you can always see what alerts do I have set up? Do I have a campaign attached? Do I have a market report added?
Yeah,
And
your incubators are right there on your right side.
yep.
All your good incubators that are, your built-in incubators are right there on the right-hand side.
And you can just, yeah, it's really cool. You can just click add, and then you can add in your zip code, city, county, neighborhood, around a school, what have you. And you can say, well, I need this to go every 7, 14, 28, or 28 days. And then it's like the old Bronco, set it and forget it.
Yep. Love that.
So, but this is where you can do this really, really easily. And you can also identify these opportunities in your smart CRM. So Scott, if you don't mind, I just want to show people everywhere. When you go into your business analytics here, down this left-hand side of KV Core, there is a really great piece of information here within your KV Core activity. And this is where you can keep track of, okay, what do I have going out and what don't I have going out? So this is like a 90-day snapshot here, but if we scroll down a little bit, there's this whole section about unengaged leads. And along with each of these, like no search alerts, no market reports, no active campaigns unsubscribed, you can always call these folks to see why they unsubscribed. But, you can click on these little arrows and you can identify these lists. So maybe I need to get search alerts set up for some folks. Maybe Annalisa needs to do less webinar and set up search alerts. I don't know. Ryan's probably like, no. But from here,
more webinars.
What? And you can click, like filters applied, because we just pulled up everyone in the system who doesn't have
me
a search
started
alert.
on these filters. That's
The filters are bananas.
oh man, I love
but if
them.
we scroll to the bottom, we can click, save this filter and give it a name like get alerts set up.
I do that for responses. I like to, if I'm looking at text responses, I can go in there and I can filter for everybody who's responded to me by text, for example. So every day I'm always concerned that I'm missing some kind of communication from somebody that's going to matter, right? We all going to have that going on. So we can actually filter for anybody who's responded via text, so that you get that list, and then you can find out what those are. And what's really cool is once you're in a lead and you're looking at your timeline, you don't have to look at the whole timeline. You could just look at the responses. So I could just click through and see what the responses are and whether or not I responded to them, or followed up on them. So I really, really like filtering.
And what I say to people is like, if you're using Property Boost or you're using hashtags to identify specific folks in your database, and you want to do a quick hour of smile and dial, power dial, you can go in here and say, well, I want to see all of my new and active leads that are buyers that have this specific hashtag. You can choose any of these or leave it off and just do those particular statuses. And they say, I want to make sure they have a phone number so I can put them on my dialer list. And, you could even put in a behavior like I want to, I'm going to turn off the no alerts one now, but I want to also make sure that they've responded to me via phone for this dialer list, or maybe they've saved a property in the last, time. So you can build these filters in to build a dialer list in seconds, to identify folks, and then you can save it and come back to it again in the future. And like Scott was mentioning, you can just jump into your first one. You can click new call. The system will call you and then try to connect you with the contact. You can log your call. schedule future calls, and even pop down here to the bottom and set up repeat calls. So I know Scott was saying, maybe someone's not ready to be spoken with yet, but you say, you know what? I know you're not retiring until 2024. I am going to send you a market report just so you're apprised of what's happening in the real estate market. And then I'm going to call you a few times over the next year. And then you just click schedule call. Go ahead.
So let's go ahead and set a time to follow up in 45 days. Does that sound good to you?
Right.
Great. Tie that down. Get a commitment. Get a commitment.
Yep. And then when you're done with Susie, you've got a little next option here at the top. You just roll on over to, Mark Waite and do it all again, but you've got everything you can check on this left-hand side about your summary. You can look at different types of elements in the timeline, even this little scope picker. If you want to see properties, activities, yep. I mean, it's all here at your fingertips, and this works, it also works on your app as well. So I know we haven't covered everything. I want to make sure we loop back here because there's so much to talk about, but I think we've talked about a lot of what we just spoke to. And I think one thing I wanted to mention is this always stuck with me from our last talk. You said you can't make someone ready, but be their place to look and search so you're there when they're ready.
Yeah.
That's really bottom line where we're at.
Yeah. We can't control people's life situations, but if we can be the place where they're happy and comfortable and they like to look at pictures of houses for sale and we're approaching them the way they want to be approached, when they are ready, then we're the people that they work with. And that is huge. Absolutely huge.
Yeah.
Do we have time for a tip?
Yeah.
Okay. If we could go to the Smart CRM really quick.
Well, of course. I love learning stuff. I always love how your take on things because I learned a different way of approach.
We all have these different approaches and ways to work, and it kind of makes it fun. That's why I like talking to so many people. We all learn from each other. Don't ever stop learning. Everybody either is going with the default campaigns that are in here or they're creating their own. Without us getting into creating campaigns and going down that rabbit hole, really quick, even if you think you're going to do your own campaigns, don't undo the stuff that worked. Right. And you're going to find on a regular basis, there's a couple text messages that are getting you responses. They're just good. And the reason that they're good is because they're asking the right questions. They're asking the right questions. So one of those is the first text. It goes in 7 minutes on the new buyer campaign. So if you did your own buyer campaign, go get that template and get it in there. Right. Because it's super good. And it's asking the first basic question. Are you actively looking or are you just browsing? That message is going out to your folks if you haven't changed your campaigns. And this one gets a lot of responses over and over and over again. So 2 things about that. One of them is that it is working because you're giving people an out. You're giving them permission to say, I'm just browsing. They're not just browsing on somebody else's site. And there's somebody else who's not getting just browsing. They're not saying anything to that person, right? But this one's specifically asking, are you actively searching or just browsing? Sometimes you'll get people saying, well, I'm looking for a 3-2 with a casita for my grandma, and but they're giving you their life situation. Right. In other cases, they're giving you the just browsing. This is a difference between an agent and a good agent, okay? A good agent looks at this and says, oh, cool. They responded, even though they said just browsing, where the other agents are going, oh man, they're just browsing, another looky-loo, right? You can't. So the difference in that mindset is going to be the difference in how you convert leads. If I get somebody telling me they're just browsing, then I need to have an answer, right? I know I'm going to get, because this is in the campaign, I'm going to get X amount of people constantly telling me I'm just browsing. I hope, I pray for that, right? So what we want to do is have a template for just browsing. Okay. So let's go do that really quick.
Yeah. Where are we going?
We're going to go to marketing autopilot, and then we're going to go to smart campaigns and templates.
All right, everyone. So what you do is you hover over the little envelope and then just click Smart Campaigns to get here.
Mhm.
And then templates. So if you're not familiar with Smart Campaigns, the name of the campaign is like the shell of the campaign. And the templates are the inside. So it's kind of like building a recipe. You've got your title of your recipe and your ingredients.
Nice. I do the same thing. I say it's like a dresser with no drawers. The
That's
templates are the
that's a good
drawers.
analogy too.
The
Yeah.
templates are the drawers, and then the message is whatever you're putting in your drawers, right?
Right.
So I would hit start a new template really quick.
Okay. We're going to go over here to add template.
For me, yeah, there we
We're
go.
doing email or text one.
We're going to create a new template, text
Okay,
template.
new text template. All right, got it.
So these messages are going out and getting you these responses. That one and the are you investor or are you looking for yourself? And you get these one-word answers like myself.
Right.
You got to know myself. What was that about? And you look at the context of the conversation. Well, there are two of them that you're going to get a lot. And one of them is, you know, an investor, are you looking for yourself? And the other one is, are you actively looking or just browsing? So this is going to be called just browsing.
Okay.
And then the message going back is no problem, period. This is a great place to browse. That's called a cushion, right? You want a cushion.
Yes.
You want to make them feel good about, okay, great. This is a great place to browse.
No pressure.
I'm giving you access to all of the listings that the agents get to see. And unlike the sites on the search engines, I don't share your data with anyone. Period. As a service, comma, as a service, get rid of the of.
Oh, sorry. Here we go.
There
Got
we
it.
go. Thank you. As a service, I'm sending you all of the homes that match your search criteria, period. How can I personalize this for you? These, I would say. That was me. I said it like this. Okay, now, so what we've got is cushion, no problem. This is a great place to browse. Value, okay, I'm giving you access to all of this stuff. And as a service, I'm sending you the listings. And then we end with the question, cushion, value, question. Cushion, no problem. It's a great place to browse. Value, I'm giving you all this stuff. And then question, right? So go ahead and do me a favor and just hit add template.
Yeah, I just want to, oh, thanks for signing me out there, Google. Good grief. I'll get that added in a few minutes. Right, exactly. I'll loop back to that. So let me go back to this. So we'll just click add
just hit add template.
Yep.
So here's what's cool. Once you have that, it's in there. If we go to the smart CRM, right, or we want to refresh the page for sure, hit refresh on your browser on this one, I think, or refresh the page.
I gotta refresh it, reload it. Yep.
Yeah. And then if I were you, I'd go to the smart CRM real quick. And so let's say that you're in your smart CRM and whatever first lead, hit Ken, please. So let's say Ken texted you with, I'm just browsing. And so we click on text.
Okay, upper right, send text. Oh, and then we'll just
then right there, we type the word just browsing, click on it. Boom, there it is. Hit send, you're out.
Awesome.
So if you know you're going to get the same text on a regular basis, have a great answer for it and have it pre-built so you can just click and go.
And for all of you watching, I will get a copy of this dropped into the doc, and we'll also make sure you get access to that doc because Google's just shut me down. So, and with that, we do need to close out here. It's been a very full hour, but Scott, this was tremendous, and I so enjoy speaking with you. I really appreciate your perspectives and sharing your know-how of the industry. So thank you for being here, and we'll for sure have you back soon.
It's my pleasure. Good times.
Awesome. Thank you so much, and everyone have a great rest of your week.
Happy selling.
Yes, happy selling, and just, stay the distance, keep training for the marathon. Right? Yep. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye. And Ryan, I think you'll have to end it.